I went from horrendous to excellent. I went from horrific. My friends, after seeing me perform for 11 months, begged me to stop humiliating myself. They told me I wasn't funny because they cared about me, and all they could see was that I would permanently be unfunny. Fortunately, for some reason, I've never seen the logic in permanently something. If you put effort and diligence and study into anything with a massive dose of willingness to fail and learn from it, you can do anything. You can get good at anything.
Wow, I love that. Well, he's going from horrendous to excellent, and he owned both of those things. And if you could see it, he got that he was horrendous, but it didn't stop him. But he also knew when he got to excellent. He wears that badge proudly because he earned it. So I love that you own both of those places, and you were both those humans. You were both those things, and those things can coexist. And that's kind of the polarity, right, of the yin and yang and the quest and the growth that I think higher power and God has intended for us, to have that horrendous or that pain to then pull you to the other side of what's possible on the other side of that, which is art, which is love, which is beauty, which is magnitude of all the things that makes your heart sing and then want to keep doing it. But you had to have some taste of, you hoped that that was what it tasted like on the other side, to take all those arrows to the heart. I would imagine that holding on to what possibly could be that you hoped it was good enough allowed you to have your friends who loved you to say, Patrick, you suck, to keep going. How did you connect those dots?
There's two things. I first seen a person in the world who was living my bliss. And that is a powerful imprint. So when I saw Spalding Gray and John Leguizamo crushing it, doing a one-person show, it was so exhilarating to my soul that was the primary glue I would use, because it's that old phrase where someone comes up to this piano player who just lit up that place in New York, the best place in New York, Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
And they go, I would give half my life to play like that. And he said, perfect, because that's how long it took me. So I encourage people, what would you give half your life to be able to do? Great, do it. Do it. You'll start to experience joyful results. It won't take half your life to start to experience joyful results, but it may take a while to figure out, how do you get your hands to move on a keyboard? But the second thing, and it's so big, and I used to say this to audiences all the time, I used to say, look, this notion that you have to believe in yourself is a half truth, because I barely believed in myself when I started speaking, but mostly I didn't believe in myself. Mostly I was full of doubt. But there is something inside you when you are aligning with your purpose and you are aligning with your bliss. I know the sound of it. There's something inside you that does whisper, but you can do this eventually. But this is for you. And that's the only voice to pay attention to. I failed. And the weirdest thing about after every failure, and they hurt like hell, I would go home and I was crushed. And yet I would wake up the next day and something inside that would whisper, you can do this.